Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is Tuesday, the 21st of July, 2026. And yeah, here we go again. Oh man, when does it stop? All right, welcome to the Tuesday edition of the WTF Reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist. And I wrote that song 30 years ago because the mainstream media, they're just liars. And sometimes they're liars by omission. And I was going through social media, as I sometimes do. And there was a guy that posted a very interesting fact. And that is, last Thursday, you may recall that President Trump had a 25-minute address to the nation. And some of the mainstream networks, ABC and I believe as was NBC, the big three, they decided not to cover or carry the presidential address. Because they say, it was going to be all filled with lies and propaganda, and we're not going to put that out there. But then after he was done talking, of course, all the talking heads get on there and they just, bash and diss everything that he had to say. So the point here is that, why is it that the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear, from the source itself? And this is why, here's another example. As you regular listeners know, I've been really on this issue about the flock cameras and the invasion of our privacy and the violation of our Fourth Amendment right to our privacy of our papers and effects. And a lot of TV stations around the country, I covered that yesterday in Georgia, in Alabama, in Connecticut, in Florida, all over the country. Local affiliate stations are carrying stories about how, the flock cameras are being misused by local police stations. I mean, there's several police officers that were fired because they were using the flock cameras to stalk their ex-girlfriends or their ex-wives or stuff like that. And that's illegal. Okay, so the local affiliate stations are carrying this issue, and it's a nationwide concern. However, you don't hear a word from NBC, NBC News, CBS News. They're not telling you anything about this. They're not, the silence is deafening. So why is it that mainstream networks are ignoring certain issues? Another example is this thing about the NDAA and the fact that that hidden in, the sly as SOBs, they're sliding in this merger of Israel into the United States military. They're sliding it into the SAVE Act. Of course, a lot of people want the SAVE Act. They want election integrity. They want people to be able to have to identify themselves if they're going to vote. And so that's a major thing. A lot of people want that because we've heard about the problems with the election integrity, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so they're sliding it into the SAVE Act so they can merge the U.S. and Israeli military. And also our intelligence. They're basically handing over our Department of Defense, or Department of War, to Bibi Netanyahu. And the media is silent about this. Absolute silence. They're not carrying this story at all. So, they're ignoring the flock camera issues. They're ignoring, like I said, with the presidential address, they won't put him on live, but they don't waste any time dissing and, picking him apart and calling him a liar, and it's all propaganda and stuff like that. So the mainstream media is not your friend. Absolutely not your friend. And if you're consuming intellectual fecal matter, you're going to end up with stuff for brains. Fill in the blank. So, and this is why, I've been screaming about this for years, And anyway, today's show, I'm just going to have open lines. I have been, over the weekend, I've been doing all this research and putting together, the show that I did yesterday. And by the way, I should tell you that my efforts here are starting to improve in making these videos. Now, today's show, no, I'm not making a video of today's show. However, yesterday's, yeah. Okay, so it's going to be posted hopefully within the next, 24 hours or so. But I would encourage you to go visit our website, thewtfreports.com. And I've got, three videos now under my belt. And I'm learning as I go. I haven't done this before. I'm an analog guy in a digital world. And I've been doing audio, radio broadcasting for years and years. But now moving into video and preparing the video clips, et cetera, learning the programs and how to capture different videos online and then trim them and do all the stuff that's behind the scenes. And like I've said before, I don't have a producer where I can say, okay, play clip 17. I'm doing this all on my own on the fly, and it's a bit of a challenge. So anyway, being on the air on the Red State Talk Radio network here 5 days a week, okay, that's one thing. But as far as making the videos are concerned, I'm going to do those like maybe twice a week at this point because there's a lot to it, a lot more than I originally thought. But anyway, I'm going to have open lines. I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to know what's going on in your neck of the woods as far as the flock cameras are concerned. What are your feelings about all these robots? Oh man, I just keep on getting more and more information about these robots. And as a matter of fact, in New York City, they now have a robot teacher in the classroom. Yeah. They're going to replace so many jobs, folks. This is just unbelievable. And there is a mad dash right now. Remember back in the 60s, JFK said we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade, and there was the space race. The Russians were putting satellites into space, and we had to jump, up our game. And we had the Mercury mission and the Gemini mission and the Apollo missions. And anyway, so that was the space race. But now there's a robot race. Yeah. China, Russia, United States, other countries are in a mad dash to produce militarized robots. Yeah. So instead of having, boots on the ground with, having a draft, well, they're manufacturing robots. And this is terrifying because the people who are behind this, they can program these robots to go after anybody that they want. So it's not like saying, okay, well, we're going to put robots in Ukraine or send them off to Iran. They can deploy these things right in your town. And God help you if you're not aligned with their political motives. This is some scary stuff, folks. There's these little tiny drones. They fit in the palm of your hand. These little tiny guys. Some of these kids have little drones now. They're flying them around and stuff. This technology is insane. And they've got these little tiny drones that, can land in the palm of your hand, and they got a shape charge. And the shape charge, they can fly this into your head and blow your brains out. Literally. And they're manufacturing these things by the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. The people who manufacture them are getting contracted, by different organizations, and they can put these little tiny drones in a plane, fly over your city, and if there's a particular group of people, Rubio was on television talking about Antifa and domestic terrorists and stuff like that. If they label you as a domestic terrorist, and you're part of some sort of an organization, I don't know whether it be Antifa or whatever, and all they got to do is deploy, a couple thousand drones into an area where they know that these organizers are, and they can just, one of the drones will blow out the window. Oh, the window's open now. And then all of a sudden, hundreds of drones pour into the room, and one by one, blowing people's brains out. This is where we're heading, folks. And there's a real concern about, you remember the Terminator movie, Skynet, the AI that all of a sudden becomes aware of the fact that, humans need to be gotten rid of. This is a reality that's coming. So anyway, I want to get your feeling on some of this. How are you feeling about all these robots, about AI, about the flock cameras? And now flock is being replaced by new, more gooder, more gooder cameras. The company is Axon, Axon, and so this technology is booming by leaps and bounds. And folks like yours truly and many others who listen to this network, we're out there trying to tell people, and overwhelmingly people, oh, they would never do that. That's a conspiracy theory. I don't know, folks. I don't know. But anyway, I'd like to hear from you. What's your feeling on this? Open lines today. Phone number here is 215-867-8255. Again, 215-867-8255. And if you get through, listen to your phone. Don't listen to your computer, because there's 15 or 20 second delay before you hear on your computer or whatever device you're listening on, your phone or what have you. So if you do call in, listen to your phone, okay? 215-867-8255. 215-TOP-TALK. That's the number. And by the way, quick reminder, this program is brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. You've heard me talk about it before, and I have some sad news. I've recently become aware that Linda Banber, who basically put this Wave Watch together, who developed this, unfortunately has passed. And there's going to be a memorial on the 29th, online. So I'm kind of sad to hear that, but her family has been working with her with the Wave Watch, and they're, of course, keeping the candle burning. So anyway, if you'd like to find out more about this Rife technology, a Rife machine you wear on your wrist. Yeah, and there's over 1,000 frequencies in this for all kinds of issues. And you should find out about it. Go to our website, thewtfreports.com. thewtfreports.com. The pop-up will take you to an area where you can read all about the Wave Watch, all of the good things that it can do. And I'm not saying it's going to cure or treat anything. Can't say that. But it definitely can help in a lot of things. And I've noticed that when I first got mine, I started running a program for my eyes because, hey, I'm getting on in years, and I get these reading glasses to help me to read the newspaper. And I was running programs for eye clarity. And after about 2 or 3 weeks, I picked up the newspaper, and I didn't have my readers on, and I could actually start to read the text. And I was like, whoa, holy mackerel. So anyway, it improved my vision, and then I started using it for other things. There's a sleep program in there. There's programs for your ears, for your hearing, programs for detoxing, programs for good circulation, et cetera, et cetera. And as I used these other programs, I sort of got away from running the program for my eyes. And so after about a couple of months, my eyes started to revert back to the old age that they're experiencing. So anyway, I started running the program for my eyes again, and doggone it, I can read the newspaper again. So this thing actually works. The Wave Watch, that's why I've been, screaming from the rooftops about the Wave Watch. So you can benefit from this too, and you'll get a hefty discount if you get it through our website. The promo code is RedPill100. And go to our website, thewtfreports.com, and check out the Wave Watch. Okay, that said, I was just saying that there is a conspiracy of silence. I was just mentioning that they're not covering the national networks are not covering particular stories that are extremely important. And this issue about the NDAA Section 219, previously Section 224. And then there's also 622. They're putting in, sliding in these bills very quietly. And the networks are not mentioning this. This is huge. I mean, if this goes through, we are absolutely, irrefutably, undeniably screwed. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no discussion. Okay? If we lose our sovereignty to Israel, of all countries, are you freaking kidding me? We're going to turn over our military, and we'll suffer the consequences because the entire world hates Israel right now for good reason. And it's not about the Jews. No, it's not about the Jews. It's about some crazy people. Okay, we got a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Welcome to the program. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Cynthia calling from the West Coast.
Oh, how you doing, my dear?
Yeah, you don't recognize my phone number. My phone was stolen, so I
Oh, no.
Oh. Yeah, it's been a real problem. I'm also keeping an eye on the story that the Trump administration is attempting to sell off a bunch of federal land. The problem is it is not federal land.
Mm-hmm.
It is land that was supposed to be tendered to the states when the state became a state carved out of a territory.
Right.
And the word is that they're going to be selling large tracts, which means it'll be going to the wealthy. So people need to start banding together at the county level and inform the county board of supervisors that this is not federal land, this is state land, and the states need to band together, starting at the county level, saying that we want our land to be given to the state, and we, the people of the state and the counties, because actually G.R. Mobley with Reclaiming the Republic says whether that land belongs to the county it's in or the state it's in depends on the state constitution. And, of course, it'd be nice if you had a county constitution, but very few counties do.
Right.
But you can form your own county constitution. And if it says something different than the state constitution, well, you get enough counties on board, then it will work.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's happening all around the country. It's in New Mexico, in Utah, Arizona. I mean, there are a lot of these quote unquote federal lands are being, confiscated or turned over to individuals who want to strip the land. I mean, they want the minerals, they want the water rights, whatever. Bottom line here is that they shouldn't be able to do that.
They've been stealing from the states for a long time. When they sell mineral rights to their wealthy foreign friends, they are stealing from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you might invite GR on to talk about this issue because we need as much exposure on it as possible.
Yeah, put him in touch.
Very few people understand this issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, put him in touch with me. Have him give me a call. Absolutely.
She wants you to make the initial contact.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
Yes, he knows how pushy I am.
Oh, okay. Well, you're a woman. That's why. There's a real sexist statement. Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, his listenership has increased greatly since I started promoting him. So,
okay.
I feel vindicated.
Is there a number that you can put out there where people can contact him, or I can contact him, or does he not want phone calls?
Oh, all the information is on reclaimingtherepublic.org.
Okay. Okay.
With my phone stolen, all my special contact information was on there, and it's gone. Now I have to get it back.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Can I bring up another topic because
sure.
I'm concerned how many people we're losing. People who are innovators and creators and activists, and I discovered the hard way that you can have carbon monoxide exposure where the alarm does not go off, but the amount in the room is still high enough to cause you brain damage.
Oh, my. Okay.
And I went to the emergency room, and those doctors lied to me. When I was able to check my lab results some weeks later because I had trouble getting into the portal for my chart, I discovered that the lab values were elevated, but they never mentioned it to me. And I went back to confront them, and they said, well, they're hard to interpret. Well, that story says they're hiding information is what it is.
Yeah.
Because if it's enough hours from the exposure, the level will be normal. My level was not normal.
Okay.
And you can buy for a lot more money than the little devices you buy to mount on your ceiling. You can buy one for like under $200 that is a much higher quality and gives an actual readout of how much there is.
Huh. Okay. I was not aware of that.
People should buy those and start sharing them, because if you have an older furnace, in particular, you could be sitting there with with 20, 30 parts per million. And sure, it's not 70 parts per million where the alarms go off. But I feel like our government has fooled us into thinking that we're safe when we're not safe.
Oh, they wouldn't do that. They'd never do that. No.
Well, hopefully people won't keep treating me like I'm psychotic when I say that Big Pharma is up to bad stuff,
No kidding.
So those are two key points I wanted to bring today, is that because as someone who's exposed to carbon monoxide will be a worse driver. They're more likely to have an accident or be unable to avoid an accident that was intentionally set upon them. Right?
Okay.
They will get to keep appointments. They will get confused. How many of that vitamin did I take today already? Kind of thing. So those are two important points I wanted to bring up. And then thank you so much for being there for us, Dave.
No, it's my. I don't have a choice. I really don't. I think I've mentioned it on the show many times. Well, not many times, but more than once. That I was somewhat inspired, over 30 years ago, and I'm not here to proselytize or Bible beat or evangelize or anything like that. But a friend of mine, when I was very sad after a divorce, he gave me a Bible, and I hadn't had a Bible since I was in my early teens, and I opened it up randomly, and it took me to Ezekiel chapter 33, and in Ezekiel 33. It says that God told the people to assign a watcher on the wall, and when the watcher sees the sword come upon the land, he is to blow the trumpet and warn the people. So if he sees a sword and he blows the trumpet and the people don't listen, then their blood is on their own head. But if he sees the sword and blows not the trumpet, then their blood is on his head. And I'm sorry, but if I see injustice or if I hear of a lie, like I've said many times, if you become aware of a lie and you do nothing to expose the lie, you become part of the lie. And I won't be part of the lie. So I was, charged with the responsibility of blowing the proverbial trumpet and starting screaming from the rooftops. And that's what inspired me to become a talk show host and writing all the politically incorrect, in-your-face, you lying son of a bitch government music that's online. So I had no choice. I have to be able to, get up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror and know that I'm doing the right thing, and it's not motivated because of money, and it's not motivated because of an ego problem. So, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, doggone it.
So actually, I thought of one other idea, because the watcher on the wall idea, your physicians are under unusually severe control by licensing boards. Mm-hmm. And licensing boards can have an agenda in line with Big Pharma or with the insurance corporations.
No.
Maybe communities need to set up a once-a-week public meeting for the doctors where they can discuss their concerns and let the doctors know that if the licensing boards are harassing them, they wish to be, the public wants to be there behind their back, to watch their back.
Well, that'd be great, but you can't get the public to go to, to town hall meetings, and they can't get the public to go to the school board meetings. You can't get the public to get involved in just about anything because you can't miss tonight's baseball game. Oh, America's Got Talent is on tonight. I'm sorry, I can't go to the city hall for the hearing on this or that. Everybody's priorities are totally out of whack.
Well, we need to start somewhere. And you start not during business hours when people have to be at their business, but everybody's concerned about the high cost of insurance, medical insurance. You can't afford it. And the reason it's so high is Big Pharma controls information, and doctors have there's a story out there that the AMA sent out a notice that doctors that recommend things like the Wave Watch will be targeted.
Right.
Well, I'm pretty sure that less than 20% of the doctors belong to the AMA at this time. So I'm thinking that's somewhat of a bogus story, but I do know for a fact that the licensing boards will target doctors for what is actually a good practice instead of what is a bad practice.
Yeah.
And the doctors that make a lot of money for Big Pharma seem to be protected. So it's going to take public pressure and asking what can we do about this? And asking the doctors, do an invite to attend, to make it at a church on a night when they're not having services, but they have a parking lot that people can park in, and maybe combine it with like a farmers market event or something once a week for local people that grow their own food, are willing to sell some of it or share some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Have a reason to show up.
Well,
you'll find that the people. Yes.
No, I was going to say, remember back in the old days that there was a town crier. He dressed up like a pilgrim, and he'd have a bell, and he'd be hear ye, ka-clang, ka-clang, hear ye. And he would walk through town and tell people about, the news that was happening. Maybe we should start having town criers in every town, put some guy on the payroll and get him out in the street and start not screaming, but hollering at everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight there is a town hall meeting on this subject of blah, blah, blah that affects every single one of you. Show up at the town hall meeting, because a lot of people aren't paying attention, especially with all these data centers.
So kids who have their bicycles, who don't have their motorcycles yet, and they've got a skateboard, they could be your town criers in the neighborhood. Ask them to go around at a certain time making a lot of noise. Mm-hmm. And when people say, what's the noise about? Well, there's this meeting. We want you to know about this meeting.
Mm-hmm. I don't...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Any way that you can get the word out and, into the public eye, because Lord knows, your local newspaper a lot of times doesn't cover it. And you're certainly not going to hear about it on your local TV station. Like I was saying before you called in, networks are deliberately not reporting certain issues. Like I was just saying, the flock cameras. Yeah, TV affiliate stations, some TV station in Fayetteville or Auburn or wherever in New London, Connecticut, they might cover a story about the corruption of the flock cameras. But I mean, this is a national issue. This is all over the country. And you don't hear CBS talking about it, NBC, ABC. No, not a word about these flock cameras. And if they do, it's just a little, by the way, in passing, blah, 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 flock cameras. In other news, and then they change the subject. And like I said, they're not even talking about the merger of the U.S. military and Israel military. They're not talking about that.
There's another side to the flock camera story,
okay,
which is that in our Constitution, the federal government is supposed to protect us from invasion.
Right.
And somehow they looked the other way and we got invaded. And the flock cameras may be one way to locate those people and track them.
Well, that's true, and it's not true. It's not up to the government to protect our First or Second or Third or Fourth Amendment rights or the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is there to prevent the government from violating those rights. They're not there to enforce that. It's up to the people to do that. This is supposed to be of, by, and for the people. So if the people of this country don't stand up, the government's going to trample all over your rights. That's what governments do. That was the whole point of having a constitution. It's not to give you your rights. It's to set up boundaries that the government cannot do this. Who was it? Jefferson said something along the lines of, let us bind, the Constitution is written to bind the government. I can't remember exactly what, with the chains of the Constitution, something like that. The Constitution is designed to protect the people. But if the people don't protect themselves, well, as they say, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. Simple as that. So, anyway, anything else? Did I lose you?
No,
there you are.
I want to be sure to give room for other people. If no one else calls in, I might call back.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, okay, sweetie. Thanks for calling in, and I hope you get this phone situation straightened out. That sucks that you had your phone stolen. Oh man. All right. Well, we'll talk to you again then.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Going to take a quick break.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by visiting our website, thewtfreports.com. Don't forget the word the. The people contact me and say, I can't find you. I went to WTF. You got to go to the, T-H-E, the WTFreports.com. Click on the sponsors button and it'll take you down to an area where you can click on Get More Tank, read all the specifications and details about how and why this fuel catalyst works. Now, I've been hawking this stuff for a couple of years now, folks, and there's good reason. Because of the fact that I wouldn't promote any product unless I believed in it. And when I first tried this stuff, I was blown away. In your first application, you put 2 of these tablets in your tank, you fill up the tank with fuel, and that it begins to work its magic. What happens is that your fuel will burn at a lower temperature, the engine starts to clean itself out, and right off the bat, within the end of that first tank, you'll notice you hit the accelerator and you go. I mean, I noticed more power right away. And as you work through a couple of tanks, your engine gets, like I said, cleaned up. It's good for the environment. It's more efficient. And you start to see the improvement of your mileage. And you can see anywhere between 15 and 20% increase in your mileage. And that's money in your pocket, folks. It doesn't make sense for you not to use this stuff. Give it a shot. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So go to our website, thewtfreports.com. Click on the sponsors button and get more tank. Okay, it's about 37 and a half minutes past the hour, whatever hour you're sitting in on this Tuesday, this Taco Tuesday. And I just scratching my head trying to figure out, how do we get the rest of this country to start really waking up? And I mean really waking up, really paying attention. Most people love being in their bubble. And I understand that. And I respect that. But like I said, it's sort of like when you've got your head stuck in the sand, your butt's exposed. And unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of Americans have had their head stuck in the sand or maybe some other part, and they just don't realize what's coming. And unless people start, like I said, get a town crier out there. Let people know that they do have a voice. They just have to use it. And unfortunately, most people just, they got their fingers stuck in their ear, their eyes closed, and they're going, la, 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 la. They don't want to hear it. And, ignorance truly is bliss. And again, I can respect that. But, your unborn great-great-grandchildren will either bless your activism or they will curse your apathy. And that's what it comes down to. So, it's all on the line now, folks. I mean, this country is about to just, shall I say, implode. I was going to say explode. Maybe both. But, just people have to pay attention that there really, really is conspiracy. That's I've been screaming about that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play one of my songs from 30 flaming years ago. And if you enjoy my music, because that's basically what my main purpose in life has always been music. And this song is from 30 years ago, and it's called Prevail. It was on the first album, Will Someone Listen? And all my music is on YouTube. Just type in my name, and you can listen to all this politically incorrect, in-your-face, you lying son of a government music. And hopefully people will take notice. Anyway, this is a song called Prevail. Enjoy.
There's something brewing, people know that things aren't right. We're in the dark, it's black as night. And when the ones who see the truth try to convey, they're ridiculed and turned away. But now it's time for us to see there really is conspiracy. If we don't act, we won't be free. We must be brave or be a slave. I think we all know we've been lied to through the years. Events confirm our darkest fears. And in denial, we still act like nothing's wrong. We work so hard to get along. Manipulate and rearrange. The plan is brilliant and long range. And no one notices the change. Understand, it's all been planned. We can prevail, we can make our freedom last. Forget your history and you'll repeat your past. Search your heart and you'll know that it's true. It's up to us. What will we do? We will prevail, yes, we'll make our freedom last. We know our history and we won't repeat our past. In our hearts, we all know that it's true. It's up to us. That's me and you. In 2 Timothy, it's there in chapter 3. It's in the book for all to see. With so much knowledge, yet so distant from the truth, polluting minds of all our youth. It's written in our history. So blind our eyes that will not see. It's up to you. It's
Wow, it just re-queued itself. How did that happen? Ah, that's terrible. Sorry about that. I don't know. I've got gremlins in the system here. But the song was just about over anyway. Anyway, okay, let me get this level back up where it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's weird. That happened yesterday, too. And I don't know, I have no idea why. But anyway, let's go back to the phones. Okay, let's see. Is this Cynthia again?
No, it isn't. No.
Oh, okay.
This is Ray from Columbus.
Hey, Ray, how you doing, buddy?
Ever since you put your great program, I'm doing fine. Say, I was thinking when you put out all your programs about robots and the cameras, I've been thinking about how we can defend ourselves against it. And what came to mind is lasers. Some of these lasers are pretty strong. In fact, some people have been arrested for shining them at airplane pilots and disrupting them.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking about, if you can get a laser with the cameras, that would block it out. I'm almost sure of that.
Well, yeah.
In fact, it might upset the electronics. Now, the reason to do this is to get to the local community and say, look, we'll put you out of business if you don't make the regulations that you cannot share this with anybody outside. It's just going to be used local. Otherwise, we'll get the high school kids and the college kids, and we'll give them all lasers and put all your cameras out.
Yeah, well, there are people posting on social media. They're saying, there's something that you definitely don't want to do. You definitely don't want to get one of those green 50-watt lasers, and you don't want to shine them at these cameras because that would not be a good thing for the company. So definitely don't do that. Another thing you don't want to do is maybe hit them with paintballs. No, you don't want to do that. No, and then he winks at you, or looks at you sideways, as if to say, yeah, get out there and start being active and taking these cameras down. Truckers are running down the poles with these cameras now. People are running them down with their cars. They're out there with their battery-operated sawzalls and cutting down the posts with these flock cameras on. I'm not saying that people should be out there doing that, wink, wink, but the point is people are doing that. And this because this is an absolute invasion of privacy, and we know the surveillance system is all plugged into AI, and AI's got the drones and the robo-dogs, and very soon you're going to see robotic, militarized police in the streets. And people saying, oh, gosh, if we have a revolution, that's why we have a Second Amendment. The last thing you want to do is go to war against a whole fleet of militarized robots. Because when they shoot, they don't miss, and they got they got heat seeking, they got infrared technology. We're in a world of hurt, folks. So
yeah, absolutely. No, it's scary as hell, and they're headed that way, and that's where they want to go. I don't think there's any question of that. It's a matter of time, and the resistance that the people bring up. And I'm wondering if you can't get a laser, for example, for these cameras. Just a strong, some of these searchlights or flashlights are pretty darn strong. And they may be able to disrupt it too, and not having to use a laser. I went to the electronics store to get a laser, and the only thing they had is this little weak green thing to use for making a presentation. So I don't know if you can get better ones or stronger ones on the internet. I haven't tried yet.
I'm sure you can. You can get just about anything, But you're right. For the general public, these little lasers that you use to play with your kitty, so the cat chases it around and stuff like that. Yeah, those aren't going to do it. But there are more expensive lasers that are out there. I imagine they cost a couple $100, but I'm sure they're available.
The other thing is the drones. I'm wondering how we can disrupt the drones. I'm wondering if the laser light might be helpful there. It might
I wouldn't
mix
know
up the electronics.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about that. That's not my area of expertise. But like I was saying, there are people that are posting on social media, on Facebook and X, etc. On what things that you definitely don't want to do. Yeah, you don't want to get a paintball. You definitely don't want to get a paintball and put some epoxy in the little balls so when you hit the target they can't wipe it off. You definitely don't want to do that. No, you don't want to get a battery operated this and that. No, don't do that. Wink, wink.
Well, that's great, Dave. I got your message, and I'm glad a lot of people are out there thinking about how to defend themselves, because that's what we need to do. And we need to start now, right away, in order to avoid it. Hey, great program as always, and the stuff you bring is really mentally shocking but activating. Thanks for your program.
Well, thank you for being a listener, because I know you've called in the past. I mean, I've talked to you. You've been a listener for a couple of years now. So
yes,
I appreciate your steady listenership and your support as well. So
okay.
All right, you take care.
Righto. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, the number here, if you want to join the conversation, is 215-867-8255. We're having an open line Taco Tuesday today. So anything you want to bring to the table. And something that I've been talking to a couple of my friends about who've been paying attention. And you remember, what was it, 8 years ago when during President Trump's first term in office, There were the Q posts. And a lot of people were saying, yeah, there are white hats out there that they're working hard to take down the cabal, the deep state, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of that, I suppose, was hope porn, as they say. Hope porn, yeah. And so, I mean, I have to stop and I think, how long is this going to go on? Is there really a resistance within the military? Are there really white hats? Now, you regular listeners know that I've shared a story of what happened about 30 years. Yeah, it was 30 years ago. Back in 1996, when I was with Joyce, and we were, quote unquote, strongly invited to attend a meeting. And we went to this meeting, and there were, 65, 70 people there, something like that. And the doors closed, and there were people standing at the door, like security. And there were people that were, there were some people in uniform and others, just regular clothes. And then the presenter got up there, and the first thing he did is he said, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in this room right now, I want you to know that you've all been thoroughly vetted. We know who you are, and we know what you're doing, and we thank you. And I was, wow, this is pretty cool. But anyway, he went into a whole presentation about how our country was taken over by the cabal, and this goes way back. He went back to 1871 when the United States basically ceased being a sovereign country and became a corporation. And they changed it from the United States of America to the United States of America Incorporated. And he went through historically about all the different moves that the powers that be made. And the final nail in the coffin, shall we say, of the Republic was when they took out JFK. And he went on to say that, look at, folks, we are going to get our country back and wrestle it from the greedy hands of the people who have taken over. And it's not, it took them, 100 years to execute their plans. They had to be patient. They had to be diabolical. They had to be ruthless. They had to be stealth. But they took their time and they got it done. And he said, and then he went on to say, well, look, we're going to get our country back, and we have to be just as diabolical, just as ruthless, just as patient, but we will get it done because we're the good guys. We're the white hats. And that thing about the white hats stuck in my head. But anyway, I digress. When they started putting out these Q posts, I started hearing more and more about the white hats. And I was saying, oh, wow, maybe there really is a resistance that's happening. So, and we're hearing stories about, Gitmo, and we hear stories about, military tribunals. I don't know if it's all true or not. I can hope it is. I can hope that the people who've committed treason against this country and the American people are being held accountable. But, I don't know. I don't know. It could all be conspiracy theory. It could all be hope porn. It could all be a psyop to keep all of the people like you and me and folks that are paying attention quiet, I mean, back in when I was doing the Power Hour on the GCN network, Alex Jones, of course, his show followed our show. Well, we had the Power Hour radio show, and that was a 3-hour morning drive show, Monday through Friday. And we were followed by Derry Brownfield, rest his soul, and he had a 1-hour show. And then Alex Jones would be on the network. And, I used to talk to Alex, have him as a guest on, hey, Alex, who's going to be on your show today? Well, today we're talking to Charlotte Iserby from the Department of Education, But anyway, excuse me, I got frogs in my throat. The point is, though, is that I said, how is it that we're allowed to be able to put this information out? And it occurred to me that if you have a pressure cooker, and you put it on the stove and you close the valve and you turn that heat on, eventually that pressure cooker is going to explode. If it doesn't have a way to let that steam out, it's going to explode. And that's the way it is with information. And the powers that be know that. And so I was saying, how is it that I'm allowed to talk about this stuff and put it out there, and Alex is allowed to talk about that? How is it we're getting away with that? And it occurred to me that maybe unwittingly we had become the relief valve. So that people out there listening, if they hear us talking about, the fight against the New World Order and the globalists, yada, 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 maybe we're allowed to do that so the people out there listening can sit in their rocking chairs and say, well, the truth is getting out there. That makes me feel good, and then they just stay in their rocking chairs. thinking that, yeah, things are getting done. But things aren't getting done because too many people are still sitting in their rocking chairs. So this is the whole point, to get people motivated, get them, get off the seat and on your feet, as they say. We need boots on the ground. People roll up their sleeves and get involved with this. So anyway, that's what I was thinking. Maybe just, this broadcast and others like it are relief valves. So everybody else can stay, that's listening can, just stay complacent and inactive, because they're relying on folks like me and all the other broadcasters to get her done. I don't know. So anyway, okay, let's see what time. We only got a few minutes left. Yeah, if you want to squeeze in a call, you could do it right now, but you better do it now. 215-867-8255. There's only a few minutes left to the program. So anyway, like I was saying, I was really pleased when I was in that meeting all those years ago, and I can't help but think that, back in the 90s, of course, we heard it was Agenda 2000. The powers that be wanted to have their new world order, their global government in place by the turn of the millennia. And then they had to push it back, and it became Agenda 2020. Okay? And now they've had to push it back again to Agenda 2030. But what's happening now at light speed is that there is a great awakening, shall we say, a noticing, and I'm using that word very specifically, a noticing of what's going on and who's behind it. And I think that what's happened here is that the powers that be are trying to push their agenda forward now instead of pushing it back, and because they see what's happening. And when they have to hurry up, they start making mistakes. So, okay, caller, you're on the air. We got about 2 minutes. Hello again. Is that Cynthia?
Hey, it's me, Cynthia again. I begin wondering, why do the feds have the right to control who owns the radio station in your town or in your county? And why aren't counties going to bat to say, that's our airspace and we want to control it. We don't want you to control it, because you're owned by foreign people many times.
Yep.
And big corporations. Start there, saying we want that airtime for us, and our schools can use it, our churches can use it, our businessmen can use it.
Yeah.
But you federal government cannot control it. It's ours.
Well, that's in a perfect world, you're absolutely right. But the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, are in control of that. And who's in control?
It has the right to exist.
And who's in control of the FCC?
Constitution that says it can control the airwaves in your county.
Well, it's up to the FCC to protect those airwaves. Unfortunately, you have to look at who the commissioner is of the FCC and check out the ethnicity of that individual.
No. You need to understand that they have many different federal programs and departments that are not constitutional.
Oh, I know.
Start challenging the constitutionality of it.
Well, you're proving my point. That's what I'm saying. The FCC is supposed to be in charge of regulating, the airwaves, and they're not doing their job. It's
not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be in charge of regulating. That's your county airspace, and the airwaves. Those are local. That needs to be under local control and not under federal control. The FCC should have nothing to do with it.
Well, they are, and they're supposed to protect the people. By the way, here comes the music. Oh gosh, we're running out of time. All right. ReclaimingTheRepublic.org. Hey, thank you for calling in, sweetheart. All right. We'll talk again. You take care. Bye-bye. All right. Well, she's making a good point. It should be the airwaves should belong to the people, and the whole point of the FCC was to protect the airwaves from being taken over. And unfortunately, they're not doing their job. The FCC should pull the licenses of the mainstream networks for what they've been doing to the American people. That's my opinion. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's installment of the WTF Reports. If you're listening on Rumble or BitChute or YouTube or Facebook, click like, share, subscribe, and do some business with our advertisers. That said, God bless you all. Stay safe, stay free, and God willing, I'll see you tomorrow.